Okay, so welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to dive right into it. We're talking about the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
It's that legendary area out there in the Western Atlantic, roughly, you got Miami, Bermuda, Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah.
Making that triangle.
Right, yeah.
It's gotten so famous for, ships and planes just vanishing without a trace.
Really just disappearing?
I mean, you've heard the stories,
Shit,
right?
yeah.
Seen the documentaries, the whole thing.
Who hasn't? Right.
Exactly. And it's just a place that's just steeped in these disappearances and mystery.
A real sense that, we just don't know.
Right. And so for this deep dive, what we want to do is, you've heard the sensational stuff, but we're going to cut through that.
Yeah, let's get to the truth.
Exactly. We're going to look at our sources and explore what they have to say about the real explanations behind the enigma.
The grounded stuff, right?
The grounded stuff. So let's jump right in. What is it about the Bermuda Triangle that makes it so mysterious? What's at the core of this?
Well, it really is fascinating how this specific spot, this area, has captured so many imaginations for so long.
Right.
And it's interesting because, this wasn't always some zone of spooky happenings, right?
Right.
What's really interesting to me is that the legend really took root in the 20th century.
Yeah, it's not like, ancient mariners were like, beware the triangle.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
And our sources, they really highlight the 20th century as the key period.
Yeah, that's when it all popped off.
Yeah, when the Bermuda Triangle really gets that infamous reputation.
It got its rep.
And it seems like a big part of that is the disappearance of Flight 19 back in 1945.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
So tell me a bit about that. What happened?
Well, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers just vanished during a training exercise. It was huge news.
Just gone.
And to make it even more mysterious, right?
Right.
The search plane they sent out to find them also disappeared.
No way.
Yeah, so, you can imagine, right? Losing that many aircraft like that just back to back, it caused a stir. A lot of speculation, a lot of theories floating around.
And the Navy was just like, we don't know.
Yeah, basically. Their official report just said, cause unknown.
And that just makes it worse, right?
It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. That lack of a clear explanation just opens the door for all sorts of wild theories.
Totally. And our source points out, it's that void of information that lets those sensational explanations grab hold of people.
It's like our brains just can't handle the not knowing.
You have to fill in the blanks.
Right, and sometimes we fill them in with some pretty out there stuff, like alien abductions and whatnot.
Exactly. So we have the sensational stuff, but then we have the more evidence-based explanations, right?
We gotta look at what the science says.
And our sources, they provide a bunch of those. And what's interesting is how many are rooted in natural phenomena.
Stuff that happens all the time.
Right. Or even just human error.
Yeah, people make mistakes.
All the time. And experts say that simple mistakes combined with that region's crazy weather.
Oh, the weather, there is no joke.
It's a huge factor in these incidents.
Like you wouldn't believe.
So tell me a little about the weather patterns out there.
Okay, so the Bermuda Triangle is not exactly known for being calm and predictable. You've got these sudden violent storms that can pop up out of nowhere.
Like what?
Like hurricanes and waterspouts.
Waterspouts?
Yeah, basically tornadoes over water.
Whoa.
Super powerful, super dangerous.
Hey.
So it's not just your average rough seas. These are intense forces of nature that can overwhelm even the most experienced sailors and pilots.
Right. So it's not just that the weather's bad, it's that it can change so quickly.
Exactly. Unpredictable and dangerous.
Wow. And then on top of that, we have the magnetic anomalies, right?
Yes, the mysterious magnetic fields.
Our source mentions that variations in Earth's magnetic field in that area, they could mess with compass readings, leading to big navigational errors.
Yeah, it's like your GPS going haywire, right? But on a much bigger scale.
And before GPS, that could be a real problem.
Oh, yeah. Especially back in the day before all the modern tech.
So if your compass is spinning, you could end up going the wrong way without even realizing.
Yeah, it's easy to get turned around out there.
And then there's this theory about methane hydrator.
Oh, that's a fascinating one. So basically the sea floor in that region, it holds these huge reserves of methane hydrate.
Methane hydrate? What is that?
It's like this icy substance that traps methane gas.
Okay.
And the theory is that sometimes this stuff can suddenly release huge bubbles of methane.
Like underwater explosions?
Kind of. And these bubbles, they can really mess things up.
How so?
Well, for one, they reduce the buoyancy of the water. So a ship could be sailing along and suddenly it's like hitting a sinkhole.
And just sinks.
Yeah, it can happen very quickly.
Yeah.
And it can even affect the air density above the water.
So it could affect planes too.
Potentially, yeah. If the air suddenly becomes less dense, It could cause problems for aircraft.
That's scary.
It's a pretty dramatic scenario, but there's actually geological evidence that suggests methane releases have happened in that area.
Wow. So we've got crazy weather, wonky compasses, exploding methane.
It's a lot to deal with.
And then there's the rogue waves, right?
Ah, yes, those are terrifying.
So those are those massive waves that can just appear out of nowhere.
Right, they're huge and unpredictable.
And can take down even big ships, right?
Absolutely. Our source mentions how these rogue waves are a very real threat to ships in the Bermuda Triangle.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
A wave the size of a building just suddenly appearing?
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Oh, kidding.
So for you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has given you something to think about.
About the power of nature.
And the power of our own imaginations.
And how those two things interact to shape our view of the world.
And maybe it'll even inspire you to go out and explore some mysteries of your own.
There's a whole world out there.
Full of wonders and mysteries.
Go find them.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time. Bye. Bye.